Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we believe there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and guess what? We can use it. So as I welcome you, as I acknowledge that we are here by divine appointment, nothing happens by chance. And I also welcome our viewing audience who have tuned in from Facebook and the World Wide Web, and all the wonderful feedback that we receive from our life-transforming message, and that's why we are here. This is a way of life. It is far greater than a religion. Our daily life is our temple and our religion. So everyone we touch feels that energy and is healed and uplifted in our presence. We are that light. And when we acknowledge that, then we are growing and unfolding, and we receive so much out of knowing who we are. So our theme is the dynamic laws of the universe, and today we're looking at asking our higher power for what we want. And Jesus, who became the Christ, said, "Ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. For they that asketh, receive. For they that seeketh, find. For they that knocketh, the door is open. Behold, I set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it." That door is open for each and every one of us to absolutely walk through and to claim our good. In the song that Fleet sang this morning, "I want it all, I want it now," the truth is we do have it all. And the only true moment is this moment. The now moment, the eternal moment, the holy instant is the only moment that we have. So those that look to yesterday and lament about yesterday, or they have upsets about yesterday, the only thing that is true about the past, the Course of Miracles states, is that it is not here. Do we get that? That's the only true thing about the past. It is not here. It is released to its native nothingness from whence it came. We bless the past, we bless all our life experiences. The learning, the growing, the expanding. And let everything else go, because what no longer serves us, we should not be carrying it along. We had a wonderful speaker at our Wednesday Night Live. In fact, she was voted the #1 speaker of Australia. She's been in this country 14 months. Her name is Terry Hawkins. And she said that when she first got to this country, and she went through a divorce, and she had some things happen, and she said that she was like in bed practically the whole year. And I said, isn't it amazing that when we begin to regroup and not judge our experience, and speak our word in such a way that the universe does answer, and that God's delay is not God's denial, that when love waits on welcome, not on time, it is the energy of this now moment. And she wrote a book called There's Only Two Times in Life, Now and Too Late. And she gave her book to everyone in the audience, and it was raining. She drove in the rain from Manhattan Beach. And she said, on my way here, I'm thinking, I usually speak to like 20,000 people. What am I doing on my way to Palm Springs to speak for this relatively small group? And let me tell you, we put the word out there. And it's interesting about the mentality of Palm Springites, that if it's raining or it's a little cold, people just don't want to go out, and it's just too this or it's too that. She's driving from Manhattan Beach. And it was so great to have every seat filled on a rainy day and evening in Palm Springs. And when she gave her book to each person and she autographed it, I thought to myself, she is creating a space to receive. Give and you will receive, that your joy may be filled. So when we get that, when we really understand the dynamic laws of the universe, we know that we will never outgive God. We do not give to make God feel better. We give to deepen, broaden, and expand the life of the giver. And that when we open the space, an amazing thing happens, because it's the space of miracles. And when we do have challenges, that's always interesting too, because that's like a key to just send the energy out and bless it. And it was interesting, on the way to San Diego on Sunday afternoon, we left at 4:30. And we got up to right off the freeway, and it was like bumper to bumper. And I thought, what is going on? It was the Tour de France last weekend, and then we discovered that they had closed 3 lanes because they were doing work on the freeway on a Sunday afternoon with, all these people. And it was just amazing. It was like bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper. And I thought, we are not going to sit on this freeway. We're getting off at Cabazon. At least we can go shopping, right? Let it pass. So I get, I see people kind of going off on the shoulder. They're getting off also. They have, the same idea. Some are going to Morongo Casino. We're going to Cabazon. So we're on the shoulder of the freeway. And it was amazing how many freeway police there are, self-appointed, saying, that's not a lane, what are you doing? And, to everybody, and I mean, there were droves of people getting off the freeway, and the people that were rolling down their windows, and they were shaking their fists and giving the half-peace sign, I must say. And, they had to, absolutely give their peace away. And we were saying, what difference does it make? We've created a lane just so we can get off this freeway and make it less bumper to bumper. And it was very fascinating to see that consciousness. And to remember to also bless it as people are screaming and yelling and handling their stress and feeling pressured and need to get somewhere. And there's nothing you can do because there are no frontage roads in that area. So we got off the freeway. We went to Starbucks immediately. And everybody else in the line said, did you ever see such traffic? What is going on? My God, it's unreal. And I said, yes, and we're in Starbucks and they're on the freeway. So you know what? Life is about choice. So when we ask our higher power for peace, and it doesn't look like peace, it's because everything unlike that comes up in our experience so that we can move through it and past it. These are life situations that just come up. And then I forget how very, very sheltered I am living in Palm Springs. And when I go around the world, it's flying, it's not driving. And I forget about that kind of road rage and people, giving their power away and their peace away to something outside of themselves. When we maintain and breathe in peace and speak our word, and we believe in our way of life, we speak our word as one having authority. We speak our word into the law of mind, knowing the mastermind has heard us and given us what we have asked for, and we assume the same feelings we would have if our requests were already an accomplished fact and mind and experience. Because if you keep putting it out there that you don't have it, the universe always sees that you don't have it. And it was like the guy that was just praying and praying for prosperity and just praying, and he would get up in the morning and he would do his little rituals and he would just pray to God for prosperity. And he would just go on and on and on. And this is an old cliche story about wanting prosperity and looking outside oneself. And each day as he prayed for prosperity, and finally he just said, God, why can't I just win the lottery? And the heavens opened, and the sun rays shone, and it said, son, I've received your prayers. I've heard them every day. You're praying for prosperity. You want to win the lottery. Well, give me a break. At least buy a ticket. Take action, right? Take action, because faith without works is dead. Action with intention brings about that result, that tangible result. And Dr. Holmes has stated the only tangible thing in life are results. So when we ask our higher power what it is that we want, we must be very specific and put it in a context that we know that we can open our arms and we can embrace it. Is it health? Then we need to do healthy things. We need to acknowledge that our body is a temple, that we treat it lovingly. My brother-in-law, Neil Stroud's brother, is at Cedar of Sinai. He has AM leukemia. This is his diagnosis. My nephew contacted me through Facebook. I have not seen him since my daughter's marriage 15 years ago, and he asked for prayer. We know that prayer is the strongest power in the universe, that where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them, that we speak our word into the law of mind. And then we also surrender to allow God to do what God does best. We don't outline the way it's going to turn out, because God may have a better idea. So as we open the space to allow God to do what God does best at a DNA cellular level in the twinkling of an eye, all can be healed. Everything can be healed. We have that faith as a grain of mustard seed, and we say to this experience, this mountain, this situation, this horrendous bumper-to-bumper thing, remove hence, and it does, because with God, all things are possible, whatever we conceive our God to be. And when we get it, that we of ourselves can do nothing, that the ego can wrench it and yell and scream and do all the things the ego does, but there is a part of us in perfect peace, for our mind is stayed on thee. What is life affirming? What is working? And that when things go through their contractions, we can just bless them and bless the energy of it and keep the faith and the knowingness that our dream is alive. Our dream is alive and well. That we move through these things and we get on the other side. You know, it took us, we got to San Diego at 10 o'clock at night. But we spent a couple hours in Cabazon, and there's always things that you remember you need when you see the shops and whatever. And I said, isn't it interesting? And I would get, kind of like in this little garden area looking on the freeway bumper to bumper. And then I said, well, it seems to be, letting up at 8 o'clock at night. And we got back on and we began to allow the journey to unfold. And the journey for each of us is recognizing there are always the little challenges along the way. Are we going to give our power away to it, our peace? Or are we going to say, this too shall pass? But the energy of the universe goes before me and prepares the way as I become a lamp unto my own feet, drawing others into my energy field. This is how it works. Our grandpa heard his little granddaughter saying her, she was saying her nightly prayers, but she was saying the alphabet. She was going A, B, C, D, E, F. And he came in and he said, honey, what are you doing? She goes, well, I didn't exactly know what to say to God, so I just thought I'd say the alphabet and he could put the words together because he knows what I want. Now, is this the faith of a child? This is the faith of a child. A little child. And when we get it, that it's that faith and trust and letting go and letting God. And what that means is there is a higher power in charge here. No matter how I try to push the river upstream, it ain't going. I have to be so clear about what it is that I want. And then not give my power away to the things outside of me. And that if I'm going through some congestion or I want my business to expand, then I give 50 people a book I've written. And that creates a space in the universe to allow me to experience life. And this woman receives $15,000 every time she speaks. And she said she dropped her, Terry Hawkins said, I dropped my price to $10,000. And I said, I am so pleased to hear that because this is the value that you place on yourself and this is what you receive. And that you're in this country now and this is a whole new experience. And to go through a life change in this country, realizing that all the experiences that come up, we have called them in so that we can move to the next level of our expression. When we're a big fish in a little pond, it's time to expand. It's time to move. It's time to allow it to unfold. It's time to speak our word into the law of mind. And doing a spiritual treatment is acknowledging that there's always a doctor in the house, there's always a physician in the house, there's always a money manager in the house, if we have that faith as a grain of mustard seed, if we speak our word as one having authority. Because we can speak our word and say, well, there's one life, that life is God's life, that life is my life. And the universe responds in the same way that we're putting it out. We need to speak our word with passion, with knowingness that it's an already accomplished fact in mind and experience. And say to whatever shows up in our experience that remove hence. I am letting you go. I am releasing you to your native nothingness. And once we really get that, something begins to shift. So we were at the La Valencia for Valentine's Day looking out on the ocean breezes, the palm trees, the energy of my family. And what was so wonderful is that we said, we had a very interesting experience on the way to San Diego. And we were sharing it with my daughter. And we were all discussing how, interesting it is that we're all at choice. We're not walking on water yet, but guess what? We're becoming lighter. We're becoming more buoyant in life, more flexible in life, willing to meet the challenges and not be swallowed up by them, but know that we've called it in, that we take responsibility for our lives. And when we take responsibility for our lives, something shifts. And it's so interesting to me that all the great psychics and intuitives on the planet knew this as tiny children. They knew this. My little grandson's going to be 3 next month. And his father, when he was born, looked into his eyes and said, "What did you come here to teach me?" I thought, what an amazing, evolved thing to look into this child's eyes. What did you come here to teach me? And when he comes to my house, he said, "Mima, do you have a present for me?" Because he knows that I'm always giving him presents. I said, "Well, yes, I do. Just 1 minute." And I always find something wonderful for him. Something magical and miraculous and mystical in that moment. Because he knows, he came in knowing that he deserves that. And my daughter said, "Well, don't start a precedent, Mom." And he said, "Mima likes to give me presents." He knows. This is what I claim for myself. I'm almost 3. This is what I know. This is my truth. So when we get it, that we are worthy, that we are deserving, that we ask our higher power, "Do you have a present for me today?" "Yes, I do. Here it is." And we step into life, and I accept my good and my unexpected good. That is my affirmation every day. I sleep in peace, I wake in joy, and I live in the ever-present moment of now. And if you are screaming at me on the freeway, and you are giving me the half peace sign, I bless you. I know there's going to be a better day for you. I know that this too shall pass, but God's love, God's truth, God's beauty, God's aliveness is flowing through us. That we are in the world, but we are of a higher spiritual vibratory frequency. Where do we want to be in life? Don't we want to be in that energy and that foundation of God? Isn't that the place in which we all spring from, that we live and move and have our being in our best day? And that when we are experiencing a lower vibratory frequency, we can just reach out to one another and we can say, "Know the truth for me. Know the truth in this moment." And that we see each other and we give a hand up. That we see each other in wholeness and completeness, aliveness, abundance, and prosperity. That's the greatest gift that we can give to each other. So today, as we come together, as we ask our higher power, "Do you have a present for me?" "Yes, I do." It is the gift of life. It is the gift of love. It is the gift of health and beauty and wisdom and every good thing. So today is the day the Lord hath made. And that as we speak our word for all our friends and loved ones, we see this energy going out and surrounding them with love and light, as I do my brother-in-law, and every person that has requested a spiritual treatment, that there is wholeness and completeness. We ask our higher power for what it is that we want, don't we? Yes, we do. And we know that it's an already accomplished fact and mind and experience, because we are what? Going higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is, and so be it. God bless you.